it is. It's beautiful.
You've been there.
There are only two ways in. You can take the pack through the pass from Aspen, or take the river, the meanders.
Because of me, meanders.
The Blitz, okay? First I want to say that the Blitz, of all the episodes that I've been disappointed in, this is the one that I've been most disappointed by, you know? I thought the script was okay. I thought the concept of the story was great. In this episode, you know, the audience knows she's dying. And the audience knows McLeod is not, so they're keying on him. They're watching and seeing his grief. They're watching and seeing his pathos. Now, on one hand, this is the price you pay for immortality. On the other hand, you go walking out the door the next morning. So the guilt and the pathos and the pain and that's what we wanted to show.
I really don't want to die. You're supposed to say something like, "Buck up, we're not going to die."
Why not?
It just didn't play with the kind of depth of spirit that I wanted it to play with and the kind of poignance that I wanted it to play with. But I had great hopes for it. You know, I had great hopes of doing an episode where someone you know is dying and they think this is the moment when they're not dying alone. And so all the things they're facing with you. And you know in your heart that you're just going to sleep and you're going to wake up again, and they're not.
And what it would have been like for us to spend our lives together. At least we get to die together.
I thought that, wow, what a great opportunity for drama. What a great thing to play.
Oh, the Blitz was one of those episodes that, you know, there's a no-win situation. You know, when it came down to it, I mean, knowing that she was going to die and knowing he would die but survive was heart-rending for him.
You know, I thought the episode was pretty emotional, and I thought McLeod was pretty emotional.
The only way he could make sense of it was to make her passing as gentle as possible.
In the summer, when it's backlit by the falling sun, it looks like a giant cathedral, glowing in the sky.
It's beautiful.
If it was written better, or if I oversaw the script in a tighter manner, I played more emotional moments, or I hit that harder on the nose.
I think if it had been just a flashback, it would have been awesome. I think because it was a great flashback story and the look was great, and I think McLeod in that era was very dashing, and I think he would. It would have been interesting to see a much more elongated version of that flashback in the past. Not to say that the present one wasn't necessary, but the present one was a little bit more confined because it was in a tunnel and there was nothing you could really do. Whereas the flashback was allowed to go out and see the times, the air raid, the romance, the tunnel itself. There was so much to tell of a story in that flashback.
Well, you know, we ran parallel stories because you need something to kick off the flashback. You need something that says, this reminds me of the time when, so you can go into the flashback. And we thought it was logical to go into a parallel story where Anne was pregnant and delivering a baby, and her life was in danger due to the cave-in at the subway station. And I thought it all should have worked.
The problem with the flashback was that it was cut with the present day, because you can only have a certain amount of time, which is 42 or 48 minutes, to tell that story. And when half of that time is taken out, then you don't see the development between the characters. Therefore, you don't care as much about them because you're not invested as much with them when you're watching the show. So if it had solely been a flashback, it would have probably been able to be developed more, and McLeod and the audience would have been invested in it much more.
This was one of the problems that we faced with Highlander. So when we did episodes that didn't have immortals in it, that didn't have villains that were just popping off the charts, they didn't have a villain that you could say, God, how are we going to face him? the episode played down a little bit.
Put it in both your names. I wanted you and Mary to have it because, well, you've got a lot to think about now, and I just didn't want you to worry about anything. And I just wanted you to have a part of...
I met some guy who was a political speechwriter, and he said to me that the episode that he convinced his girlfriend to watch Highlander on was the Blitz. So maybe it was just me, maybe it was the moment, maybe it was the sex scene that we cut out of the episode that was so hot and heavy.
I love the flashback in this episode. It was fun to play. It was all Bond. It was all, you know, that class and the style of the 40s.
It's not fair that British intelligence should have a stronger hold over you than I.
Who said anything about British intelligence?
In the Blitz, the tubes we did in a derelict building downtown in Vancouver that actually had a set of stairs that led down into a subway tunnel. And conveniently, it had fairly high ceilings that allowed us to put all of our debris bags and baskets above it and remotely trigger them so that when the actual event happens of the bomb collapsing the roof and it falling in on the stairwell, it was quite a credible look, and I was very, very pleased that we were able to do that. The present-day version of that, which was the collapse of the subway, we did in that same building. We had escalators that existed, a lot of exposed concrete beams, and existing elements that we simply took and clad with our smashed elements, and then we dropped in huge number of, I think they were like 3 foot by 5 foot simulated concrete beams that were made out of styrofoam, carved styrofoam, that were dropped in, and a tremendous amount of debris. The other side of that show was, I think we did our store first, our present-day store first, and took a lot of that debris into the subway tunnels, because debris is debris.